I'm Susie Egan from Cottage Lake Gardens in Woodinville, Washington, and today we're going to have another in the series of unique and unusual plants that grow well in the Pacific Northwest. So today it's March, early March, and we're in a section of the garden in front of the main house where a lot of the spring ephemerals are already starting to come up, and it looks really pretty. We've got the pink cyclamens, hardy cyclamens, we've got the white snowdrops, and then we've got the yellow winter aconite, which is a plant we'll be talking about in this video. The winter aconite, that's the common name, and it's called that because it blooms in late winter, early spring. And aconite, it's not a true aconite from the Aconitum genus, but its leaves look like those of an aconite, so they call them winter aconite. The actual botanical name, the genus, is called Eranthis, which means early flowering, which again is appropriate for a flower that blooms this time of the year, this early in the year. So we're going to actually zero in on two different species, which are the most readily available species. And one is Eranthis hyemalis, and one is Eranthis cilicica. And I've got them both here, so we're going to walk over to this little section of the garden, and I'm going to show you the first one, which is blooming right now, and it's the Eranthis cilicica. And you can see it's got the sweet little golden yellow cup-shaped flower, about an inch in diameter. And then it's surrounded by a little frilly ring of what looks like leaves, but they're actually bracts. And in the cilicica species, these little bracts are very, dainty and refined. They almost form a collar or a ruff around the flower, almost like a lion's mane. Now, the second species we're going to talk about is this one right here, and I'm going to show you kind of one that we've pulled out of the ground so you can compare it, how different. This is the Eranthis hyemalis, and it blooms 2 weeks earlier, and in fact, this one has already bloomed, and this is a seed pod that's starting to form right now. But look at the difference. The bracts on this are much more coarse and big than the refined little dainty bracts on the cilicica. So big difference. The other difference between the two plants, this right here is the hyemalis right here, and that's the cilicica, is that the cilicica is from Turkey, Iran, Syria, and the hyemalis is more from the southern and eastern Mediterranean area. Very close, but they're distinctly different areas. And also the cilicica is from the area in Turkey called Cilicia. So that's how it got its name. Okay, what else can I tell you about these guys? They like kind of a part sun, ideally part sun situation. They can handle some sun, more sunnier area in the northern areas, northern states. It's nice to plant them in an area along a walkway so that in the late winter, early spring, you can see them. They also have a root structure that's actually a tuber, not a corm, not a bulb, but they're actually a tuber root. And in fact, we took one out of the ground so you could see what it looks like there. There's a lot of dirt on it right now, but it's got a kind of a tuberous root, and then it's got these fine little roots that come off of it. I mean, it starts as a seed, and then over time, over a few years, it morphs into this tuberous root. So when you plant these, you don't plant that tuberous root very deep, maybe an inch or two deep. And they will, after they get pollinated, make a seed, and the seed will drop down the ground. And then, and if you look right, if the camera's able to get in close, you can see these are seedlings right here. They're probably last year, 1 year seedlings, and then they get bigger every year. And then they eventually, after about 3 years or so, they get to the flowering size. So this is a really cool plant to have in the garden. It's definitely a spring ephemeral. It'll die down by late spring, early summer, really kind of disappear. but it's wonderful to get. Not easy to find. If you can find them at a specialty plant sale, that's great, and they actually do better if you plant them. They call it in the green. You plant a live plant, but you can purchase the tubers from a bulb company like Becky and Brent or any of the bulb places. When they come, they're usually dried out, which is not good, but you can soak them in water and that'll help the viability for them to germinate. Um, so that might be your only course. But if you can find somebody who sells them, live in the green, that's even better. So I think that's all I can think of to tell you, but definitely try to find some if you can and plant them in your garden.